Hey there, welcome to One Tile Challenge. So this is the tile we are going to build our city on, and it's located on a map that is inspired by part of the coast of the Adriatic Sea. It's a very nice looking map, and I'm looking forward to this challenge. So for all of you who don't know, One Tile Challenge is a challenge where we try to maximize our population, try to keep our traffic as best as possible, try to look city good, and I added one additional layer of challenge, and that is I enabled natural disasters DLC. So this city, along with other challenges, will have to deal with natural disasters too. And we already have early warning of things that could happen to city. We just got first natural disasters. It's a sinkhole, and we got lucky in this case. City is very young, but this disaster did not hit city, and there were no real damage or casualties. To maximize population and unlock as much as possible milestones, we need to give citizens everything they desire and even more. And you see here I'm speed running through the milestones, and this is because I want to unlock certain milestones as soon as possible, because I want to unlock certain defenses for our city, so we can be better prepared for possible new natural disasters that may hit our city. So we are already at 2000 population, and while we wait for this area to fill up with residence and commercial zones, we can build small central park in this area. This will also help with population numbers, and I believe this park will be profitable and will look good. Okay, after upgrading all this road, we are ready to move the left side of this tile, and you can see here very interesting grid that I designed for this side. In the central part we will have high density residential zones and office zones. On the side we will have smaller residential zones. Central district is reserved for financial district buildings. Still rushing through all the milestones as fast as I can, because nature never sleeps. Its disaster can hit us anywhere, anytime. This area here is reserved for all the different city needs, like police, fire department, cemeteries, garbage disposal. And as I said, we need to put many schools and many amenities for residents to increase in numbers. We are at a busy town milestone now, and things are looking good. This city is shaping quite nicely, is in these early stages, and in this layout I placed many bike lanes and pathways, and you can see those bike lanes and pathways are working quite well. You can see people traveling across the town from different zones, and this will help a lot with the traffic in the future. Just imagine how much more will these pathways be used when we reach higher densities. And we are at a big town milestone. This is very good because we unlocked high density residential zones, offices, and many other policies, and we can expand even more. So for this area I decided, instead of standard offices, to build stock exchange and to build financial district. And we already have first signs of high rises in our city, and this is looking very nice. I'm quite happy how this is turning out. So now we unlocked small city milestone, and with that we can add passenger train station to this area, a small bus depot right along with passenger train station, and on this side, on the upper right side, we will have cargo train stations. So those are the first means of mass transit for our city, and I will try to use as much mass transit options as I can. It's time to put some defenses for our city, and I build up this tall radio mast, and financial districts are just loving this radio mast. You can see how fast they level up. And now we need to produce more money for our city, and stock exchange is just a great tool to do this. We can, with few smart or maybe lucky investments, we can earn a lot of money in a matter of only a few minutes. Here we can see our first high rises and our first skyline, and this is looking nice. This Central Park is very profitable, and it deserves to go to level 5 because our citizens are enjoying it very much. So we have our first 5-star park in our city, and this is also looking very nice. To build our defenses, I decided to build those big shelters. We will have 2 big shelters, one for this residential and office zone, and 2 smaller shelters that will cover this commercial zone here and this industrial zone in this area. Also, we can build one more big shelter here for this low density residential zone. One big shelter should be enough for this entire zone, but we will see if we need more. We will see what accidents will happen. And also, it's always a good idea to place disaster response units, and I have perfect spot for those guys here near the tall radio mast. And with every disaster comes a fire, so fire coverage is very important for this city, and I placed a few of those fire stations near the center of the city. Then I placed a few earthquake sensors and few tsunami buoys. This city was originally a fortress, and citizens decided that they want to rebuild this fortress the way it was before the Great Tsunami. You can see how it was made in this time lapse. After adding walls to the fortress, we have this area almost completed. We just added this nice looking road layout and painted this zone to be European style. This whole layout is carefully planned, so when I zone and places I want to zone, there will be enough room for just for few more unique buildings in this area. This area here is reserved for university. We can place here this shopping mall, then Amsterdam Plaza here. They all fit very nice here. Then we can place government offices, and I'm very proud how this fits in. We can place all street market here in this area, and in all my builds I place theaters, so I also have spot for theater in this city, and it is placed here in this, let's say, horn of the fortress. And this is, I would say, looking very nice. You can let me know in comments what do you think about this fortress. And this fortress also have a small marina. I will use boat museum as part of the marina bay and use a little trick to simulate more boats in this area. So I raised terrain here and placed a few boats or canoes in between those piers like this, and then lower down the terrain, let the water go in, and see now those canoes are floating on the water, and this is looking very nice. I'm quite happy how this turned out. While we wait for the population to increase even more and to unlock another milestone, we can do a little bit of decoration around our fortress. Now I talk a lot about disasters, but real disaster here is our traffic flow. At the moment it's 75% and I need to fix this. Everybody is trying to use this simple interchange, so I created this interchange in the middle. This will connect much better those two avenues. I added one more lane to this avenue, and don't say adding lanes, more lanes don't help. It did help in this case. And on top of that I added this circular metro line that will even better connect those neighborhoods with our financial districts and with our industrial zones. And we, as you can see, we are going above 90%, it's 93 to 94% traffic flow at the moment. And this is our Skyline, and it is looking great in this mini city. Now we can build our harbor for the cruise ships, and I will build a road to connect this harbor with the rest of the city along this peninsula. I will not use a shorter route to connect this harbor to the rest of the city because I want to make a little tourist trap in this area. So I painted this area to be amusement park, and I will use amusement park as a tourist trap. People come from the boats will be inclined to use this pathway to walk the rest of the city instead of driving all way around the peninsula. And this is initial amusement park layout. It will change a lot in the future depending on the needs of the city. For now this is what I have in mind, but it will change a lot. We can keep expanding to this area. This will be of course reserved for residential zones and a lot more of office zones because we have incredible demand for office zones, and this area will completely be covered with offices and residential. And now we got hit by another disaster. This time it is thunderstorm, and thunderstorms are not that hard disasters to deal with, but I decided to test this thunderstorm and see how our shelters are working. So I ordered evacuation of the city. So thunderstorm is finally over. No real damage was made, only few of those power cables were burned down, and this is not really any problem. We can see disaster report and no casualties, of course. Only 15 buildings set on fire and few trees set on fire. So we can order to empty out our shelters, and you can see many residents use the shelters, and this is looking very good and very promising as part of our defenses against natural disasters. So after this small thunderstorm we kept on zoning and kept on expanding, and it's time to turn on harbor and amusement park and start leveling this amusement park. And then we got hit by another natural disaster, and this time it's a tornado, and tornadoes are of course way more serious and they cause way more damage. So I immediately ordered evacuation to shelters and waited to see what tornado can do to this city and how can this city survive tornado. And unfortunately we got hit very hard. It's going across our low residential zone, and then it's changed position and went straight to our commercial and financial district zones. After this tornado you will see those zones were completely wiped out, and this is not looking very good. It caused massive damage. Just look all those cars flying off in the air. It's terrible. Disaster response units start working around the clock to save and to find as much as possible of the survivors, and this was a very big task. It was because half of the city was actually destroyed. But just look at this picture. It's like a war zone here. Everything is destroyed in this area. And but city did survive. As you can see, we lost part of the low density residential zone. We lost entire commercial sector and financial district sector, and we lost 1100 people in the process. But at that point I was not too happy with how much citizens I lost, but then I realized that this is actually not a bad number. As you can see, many citizens were saved in our shelters, and we got actually quite lucky because tornado missed our main residential zones. The count of the people who did not survive tornado would be much bigger if the tornado hit our main residential zone. And the time for rebuilding has started, and the hardest part of this rebuilding process is to wait for the response units to clean the rubble and check for survivals, and then to rebuild. So I started with stock exchange, then university, and everything else in between. Harder part of rebuilding was to rebuild all the pathways and all the bike lanes. They are small and you can't see every segment that is destroyed right away. But after a while everything was rebuilt and everything was back in normal. City regained its skyline, and most houses got rebuilt and repopulated. And to commemorate this great disaster, I decided to place this disaster memorial here along the coastline of our city. It will look nice, and it will remind us that nature is a very powerful force. Our amusement park is bringing in profit. This is very nice, and we can keep expanding this amusement park to level 5. So in this part of the build of the one tile challenge, I decided that I want to max out population. I want at least 40,000 people in this city, and this is because I wanted to build airport somewhere in this area. And to max out the population, we need perfectly grid road layout in this area, so we can cram up as much as possible of the offices and residential zone and commercial zones. And this of course took a lot of time, because main thing when maxing out population is to educate citizens. And so while I was waiting for the population to increase, I decided with the traffic again, so I'd build another circular metro line and sort of connected those two circular metro lines in this middle area here. People just need to exit one metro line, cross the street and enter another metro line. This is working very well. Traffic is at 93%. Finally, we reached big town Milestone, and we can unlock and build airport, and this is the place for I want to build airport on. And we lost some of the citizens in that process, but I believe this is looking very nice. We have major mass transit options in our city. We have boats, we have airports, we have trains, we have buses, we have metro, everything working very well, and I was very happy with the final results. Also, you can see we have few hotels along the coastline of this, and we have this beautiful skyline here. We have traces of industrial zone here on the right side, and we have big suburban sprawl here, and this is looking very nice. This is of course our fortress. It's once again standing tall and proud in this area. I'm very pleased how this turned out, and this is our park, our amusement park. It is working very well. It is very profitable. So this is our completed tile. We have close to 40,000 people, great traffic flow, and things are looking very nice. So you can see 92% traffic flow. This is looking very good. We have a very good health coverage, fire safety and crime coverage is also good. Education is excellent. Transport options are all available and working well. And there is something I'm very proud of, and this is the visiting numbers for our unique building. We have 127 people in this theater and around 100 people in all other unique buildings. And with that being said, I would like to say, oh, I think we have tsunami incoming. Would you like to see what happens next?